Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 12th and final meditation on the Beatitudes in brief. We're on the city set on a hill, the shining light today, and we're in Matthew 5, verses 14 to 16, and I'll read it with you. Ye are the light of the world, says the Lord Jesus. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid, neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it gives light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. And God will bless his word. I'd like to speak about this shining light. The Lord places this statement here as the capstone to the Beatitudes, with this final illustration summarising what he has just said. Ye are the light of the world. We would understand it if he said, I am the light of the world. Of course he is. He says, I am the light of the world. He that comes to me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. And he said in John 9, didn't he, that as long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. But when he left this world, he then says that we are the testimony for his glory. He says, ye are the light of the world. And that we become the visible testimony to his glory now on earth. Us, weak, poor, often failing witnesses, are the light of the world. Now that is astounding. He possibly turned from the hill at Lake Galilee and looked across to a little hill on the way up towards Damascus, where there was a little city called Safed, and maybe beckoning to it, it says, ye are the light of the world, a city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. He was a master of illustrations. And of course the little city of Safed would light up the hill at night, and it would be seen for miles, and it couldn't be hid. And that illustration would be understood. And then he would move to the kitchen, and he would think of the measuring vessels in the kitchen. One of them they called a bushel, and he says, would you put a candle under a measuring vessel like a bushel? No. Everybody knows you'd put a candle on some sort of pedestal, something of wood or stone, and raise it up, because the whole point of the candle is that it might shine light so that everybody can see. He says, well, I think this illustration has been well understood now. He says, let your light so shine before men. Let everyone see it. Now, the whole purpose of these Beatitudes is that others might see the light of Christ. And it shouldn't be too hard to shine in this poor, dark world that we live in. As we saw yesterday, people see a lack of selfishness in us. If they see that sympathetic and caring attitude and that striving after righteousness and that inner peace, they will be drawn to the light, because that's exactly what they're lacking in their lives. And if they see that we continue despite the opposition, if we suffer for righteousness' sake, if we're prepared to be slandered for the name of Christ and reviled because we've come to love that man who died for us and risen again, and if they see that despite that opposition we go on, they'll be drawn to that light and drawn to God himself by our character and our conduct. Do you see what the light here is in the verse? He says that they may see your good works. So it's not so much what I say, it's what I do. I do think it's good practice every morning as we read and pray just to ask the Lord what good works we can do that day. Paul says, fill your life with good works. Let your light shine. He says in Philippians 2, he says that you're luminaries in a crooked and perverse generation, among whom you shine as lights in the world. Brothers and sisters, let's take these 9 Beatitudes to heart and let's display them. We little know that what a life lived for Christ can do to those around us, our family, our neighbours, our friends, our work colleagues, and wider society. We have the light of life. May our assemblies be cities set on a hill that cannot be hid. Let's not hide our light under the bushel of our business or under the vessels of vanity. May there be a desire in our hearts to let this light shine and shine for the glory of God. Because ultimately it's not about us, it's for his glory. He says that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. And every single Christian simply says, Amen. Now we've come to the end of our little meditations on the Beatitudes. And life is beginning to get back to normal here in Scotland, just beginning. And we think we should put our focus on to the assembly gatherings and possibly preaching the gospel in public, perhaps in drive-in services and so on. I will do some meditations later on in the will of God, but I don't know when. And if you would like to know anything about that, then you would have to subscribe to the channel. The Glen Craig Gospel Hall website does contain all of these talks on it, and on the contact details are there if you want to get in touch. I do edit a magazine called Present Truth, and I'm very happy to send that to you. Thank you for tuning in. May God richly bless you.